Hi everybody, a little quick DayZ modding video today. In this video we're going to look at how you can get rid of zombies on your DayZ private server from Nitrado for PlayStation, Xbox or PC. Should you wish to have, I guess a really smooth running server as well if it didn't have any zombies on. But I guess if you were like running like PvP events, or you just didn't want to get involved with fighting zombies, you may want to do this. I will not judge people for removing zombies from DayZ. So we want to play with a couple of files. So if you fire up your Nitrado web interface and then go into the file browser and then go into the DayZ missions, Chernerus Plus or Enoch is the Livonia one, and we want to go into the DB folder, and you want to back up first, so download and save somewhere safe. You want to download it's the events file. You want to download and back up that one, and the globals file. And once you've got them downloaded and backed up, so you've got at least 2 copies, fire them up in your favourite note editor. I use Notepad++. Thanks to Don Sibley, great tip there, great channel as well. Watch Don's channel; he does loads of great stuff. And this is a really interesting file, globals. Actually, before we actually talk about zombies, if you go down to the bottom, you can see you've got the time login, time logout delays. So time logout is something you may want to reduce, actually, because when you're in that tricky situation where you're being chased by wolves and you've only got a bandage to fight them with, and you try and log out and the wolves eat you before you can log out, or a horde of zombies. If you change that value down to like 1 or 2, you can log out really quickly. Not so good for PvP though, because people can log out in the middle of gunfights right in front of your eyes. But for PvE, no worries. And underneath you'll see zombie max count 1000. You might think, well, I've never come across 1,000 zombies at once. Yeah, thank God, eh? But what happens is when the game is running, and all these events are popping up around your server, especially with a high pop server that's full, as people are wandering around, they're triggering all these events where these zombies are appearing, and the game's saying, look, I can't handle more than 1,000 zombies, tracking 1,000 zombies. So we can have 1,000. So the first thing I would say is reduce that to 0. Okay, and then save that, and then you'd want to then upload that back to your server. And the other file we want to look at is events. Incredibly important file, events. We don't fully understand what everything means in it, but if you scroll down to the infected section, here we go, starts with infected army. These are the events that as you're wandering around, or your Discord, your server people are wandering around, as they're coming within certain distances of certain areas, these events trigger their children, which is zombies appearing. And that's why often when you say you have binoculars and you look at a town from a distance, you don't always see any zombies in it. You think, oh, where are all the zombies gone? And you get there and then they're there. It's because you getting closer has triggered the children to appear. Or the other classic one is if you're in a low population server and you spawn in a town because you logged out in a town, there will be no zombies really close to you. Then and you're like, oh, there's no zombies, but as you move along, they'll then start spawning around you. That's because you haven't reached the minimum distance or the maximum distance to trigger that event for the children to spawn. The thing we're interested though is this line here, active 1. And what you do is in DayZ XML files, 1 means yes. So what that means is this event active? And so if you wanted to stop that event happening, you'd say 0. I don't want to do it because I like having zombies in my DayZ. Then all you do is just go down through all of the infecteds and change that to 0. The beauty of doing this and simply not just deleting this lot is because there's a very small chance you're going to make a spelling error. And also in the future you may want to turn them back on, or you might want to turn some of them back on. So go through all of these events and just change active to 0. And then the final thing, if you want to get rid of all of the zombies, is if you search for Control F heli, you get your heli crash. And as you'll know, heli crashes are a dynamic event, so they happen, not many of them, there's only a few that happen around the map. I've got 6. I think it's 4. It might even be 3. But helicopter crashes not only spawn loot and a crashed helicopter, they spawn zombies. Now, the chances of you coming across a zombie in a heli crash, well, if you come across a heli crash, you'll come across zombies, but what you'd want to delete is you want to get rid of this secondary here. So this secondary is saying, look, spawn in the infected army. So you'd want to delete that. I mean, you could delete the helicopters if you aren't that bothered. You could change the active to 0 for heli crashes. You wouldn't get them if you don't find them very often. And I believe that's the only dynamic event in the game that spawns zombies. Police cars don't, do they? And other stuff doesn't. And that would be it. Then you re-upload those files, restart your server, give it a while, because there may well be some events that are firing off that are still there, especially if you've got a high pop server. I mean, there shouldn't be. And then dive in and do some testing. So just to repeat that again, make sure you go in and you change the zombie max count down to 0, and then go in and change all of the zombie events, like these ones, change the active to 0 to turn them off. And that, my friends, should turn off all of the zombies in your Nitrado private DayZ, PS4, Xbox or PC private server. Hopefully that's been useful. Put your feedback down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.